the season ended right now, the way I would vote for MVP would be this, starting at 5. James Harden, 4. Kevin Durant. That's obvious. Number 3, I'd put LeBron James based on seasons right now and winning. And then 2, I'd have Kawhi. And then at number 1, I'd have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Ryan Hollins.
See, I understand that Max's nose got in the way of his thinking, but I know you're on this recency bias. You falling in love with highlights.
No.
Giannis, number 1. Okay, listen. The king, LeBron James, all right? Number 1. He can score. He can play make. There's nobody like him in history. This is not a question. And my list is based on all-time achievements, winning. Who can get it done in the biggest moment? Giannis couldn't get out the first round with a hobble Boston team last year. Steph Curry. The greatest shooter in NBA history. Not to mention, he's responsible, the sole man responsible for the best team in NBA history, the Golden State Warriors. I don't know if this year's Warriors, but last year's Warriors. Steph Curry until he's dethroned. Then, easy money sniper, Kevin Durant. No, he's not Steph Curry, but he's an MVP, 2-time finals MVP, the dagger, maybe possibly one of the greatest, if not the greatest scorer, hear me, greatest scorer of all time. He's 7'1" with a strap and a handle. Come on, dog, unguardable.
Oh, so yours is over the whole career. So you're putting everything in the mix.
Put him in the playoffs and see what happens. Put him in the playoffs.
I was going based off of this season.
No, we ain't talking about right now. You just like stat stuffers and highlights. Listen. James Harden, it's a cookout. It's a problem. James Harden and Russell Westbrook, he's about to average a triple-double, Woody, for 3 straight seasons.
You doing all that yelling for what?
Thank
for what?
you.
You doing all that like you just gonna convince everybody because you yelling? Okay, because you're not gonna convince me. Listen. I'm starting.
Be the real preacher right here.
I am. You know, I got the double-breasted on, so I could definitely do that.
You agree with me?
No.
I want to know what he's
Take us to church,
no, okay,
Damien.
so my top 5. So at number 5, I got James Harden, the best two guard in the game right now. Can just cook you from anywhere on the perimeter. There's no question about that. Number 4, I got Kawhi Leonard. To me, the best two-way player in the National Basketball Association. Not in the National Basketball Association. Number 3, I got KD. I don't know what the hell Max Kellerman was talking about. Not having Kevin Durant in the conversation. But to me, I mean, you're talking about a 7-footer that can shoot with the best of them out there. Number 2, I got Steph Curry. As much as we talk about KD, to me, Steph Curry he's the MVP of the Golden State Warriors. Without Steph Curry, they don't make it happen with the Golden State Warriors. And then number 1, to me, it's got to be LeBron James. Everywhere LeBron goes, you see what happens. You see the carnage that happens when he leaves. When he leaves those franchises. So you see where the Los Angeles Lakers, how they've been coming along, how LeBron has been bringing along those young players. So I got to get LeBron in on one spot right now.
Clearly, my list was based off of recency bias. Like right now, the season going, would LeBron James be your MVP right now? Because right now it would be Giannis Antetokounmpo, in my opinion, largely because his team is number 1 in the NBA standings, maybe through default because they have less losses than others.
But
Giannis to me is number 1 in MVP if you have the season to date.
Sinead, would you change your list knowing that we're talking all time potentially?
If it's all time, then LeBron James.
I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking all the time. I'm talking this year. I think my biggest question with Giannis to me is the shooting from the outside. We always talk about dunking. He's probably lead the league in dunks, and he does a lot of amazing things as far as his defensive prowess and all those type of things. But when it comes to the clutch, can he hit the big shot down the clutch for Giannis? I think that, to me, that's my only reservation that I have with his game now.
Would you be opposed to making him MVP right now based on them being number 1 in the NBA?
You can't even say that.
The reason I wouldn't be opposed to it because I look at his match rate and where he's taking the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
51 pounds of muscle. Like, you look like Giannis when he just came and got drafted.
Okay, I like that. That's cute. I like that. Do you know how early in the season it is? Do you have any how early in the season
I want you to keep the same energy when LeBron James was an MVP the last 5, 6, 7 years and still only got it like once.
But you got to understand, LeBron should have been the MVP last year. I feel like when you are the best player in the game, and you play 82 games up to caliber, you should get the MVP, and LeBron didn't get that.
Be mad at the time of voting, because when the voting is right after the regular season, it works to James Harden's benefit. But when it comes to the postseason, which I think if we're going to wait that long for an NBA awards, maybe we should wait that long to vote.
True.
That's where you realize the MVP should be there.
Well, here's the reality. I feel like you always get that MVP a year late unless you just do something undeniable. It's really a body of work.
And this is what James Harden did last year that was undeniable. He had a 60-point triple-double, I believe, in March late. To me, that wrapped up his MVP vote.
Yeah, no, I'm all in on that. But unless you do something like Derrick Rose and you just murder the year,
Derrick Rose is always his go-to for MVP.
No,
he's always going to Derrick Rose.
Because you got to understand, Kobe Bryant was in the league, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, Kevin. He won it over some stars, and it was against every single team in the league.
And at what age, like 20?
And no one could question what he did. I mean, it was a terror to play against. I mean, this man was I watched point guards. I'm not gonna name no names. Try to sit out games. We be reading that scouting report saying, man, I don't know what to do with this man. I don't feel the same way about Giannis, and it's so early. You can't give this away now. You got to give it to the
I thought it was top 5 to this date. I think to this date, winning does matter, especially that's the same reason why I have Kawhi up, because he's number 2 in the NBA with the standings. Shout out to the East, though. Who would have expected the Raptors and also the Bucks to really be this consistent and win more than
the East is not the West. The East is not the West. Let's be realistic. The East is not the West. So when you put up numbers in the East, it ain't the same. It ain't the same. And we cannot give halfway through the season an MVP award.
Wait a minute, hold on. So you saying there's a big margin between the East and the West right now? Because I don't feel like there's this huge gap or discrepancy between the East and West. I think it's been closed by having Giannis stepping his game up and Kawhi what he's brought to the.
There's a gap between the Warriors and the rest, but not necessarily the East.
So you got to understand this. You got Toronto, you got Boston, you got Philly, you got Milwaukee. We'll throw them in there at number 4. The West, San Antonio Spurs are out of the playoffs right now. Mathematically, the San Antonio Spurs, unless something has changed within, are out of the playoffs.
Is that more name recognition from the past?
No, they're playing good basketball right now. The West is just beating themselves up. This is SEC. This is Alabama. I'm telling you, the West, it ain't the same, Woody.